Hello, I'm Christina Spicer, and I am your National Board Coordinator for Moore County. So today I wanted to spend a little time showing you how our Canvas course is going to work. We had a great group today, really motivated and ready to go. So I hope to see more of you at our next meeting, which is in October 22nd. And so I'll go over everything with you that we did today. All right, so when you come to the Canvas course, and you should have received an email to let you into our Canvas course. If you did not get that from me, let me know, and I will get you added to the Canvas course. So first thing, you see obviously our little banner here, and then this is this is how you can contact the National Board. They have a chat, so you are able to chat with them. You can give them a call. So this is how you can get in touch with the National Board if you do have any questions. So if there's something that I can't handle that you really need to talk to them directly, this is how you can do that. These are our Saturday work sessions, so we always will meet from 9 to 12 at the Education Center at 160 Pinckney Road in Carthage. These are all of the dates of our meetings. You know, we don't meet in December. December's a little crazy for everybody, so we take off December, and every other month we're meeting. You can come whenever you're available. So, some people had emailed me and I didn't actually notice it because we're in our meeting. But if something happens and you need to come late, that's fine. It's your time. So you're an adult. You show up when you need to. If you can't come till 10, that's fine. Then come at 10. If you need to come just 9 to 10 and you have to leave early, you have things going on with your family, do what you have to do. Okay. This is all for you and here to support you. You're not required to come or to stay for any length of time. You will earn CEUs for the time you're there. So if you have to leave early, then you obviously won't get the full CEUs for the whole 3 hours. But you will get CEUs. So whatever time you're there, you'll get those CEUs. And Michelle Gray is our central office contact, so she'll be the one who handles that. Her information is here, so she kind of helps keep us organized, get everything done on the website, all of that kind of thing. And then here is my contact information, so I'll be the one that will be working with you and going through everything as far as the components and getting you ready for this. So these are your 4 components if you are an initial candidate. This is component 1, which is content knowledge. It's worth 40%. This is the test. Okay, so kind of like when you think of going to take the praxis, you'll go to a testing center, you'll take this test. It will be part on content, part on pedagogy. You'll have some that are multiple choice questions, some are constructive response questions. They'll give you some scenario and you have to write about, how you would handle that, what would you do? Then you have component 2, differentiation and instruction. So this is using student samples. So you'll have student work samples and you are going to then be analyzing those and writing about those. Component 3 is the video component. Okay, so this is where you're really showing your teaching practice, how you run a classroom, the environment you create, what you do with students, why you do this with students. So this is not only just looking at your content knowledge and what you know about your students and how you adapt to their needs, but also how you run things. Okay, how things work in your classroom. And you'll do 2 different videos. It'll show different things about your classroom. So you might do a small group, whole group, do some different things to show what you do. Component 4 is an effective and reflective practitioner. So on this, you're looking at some sort of professional development you've done that is based on some need your students have. And then you're going to show how you use that in the classroom, and you're also going to show assessment. So you're going to focus on assessing the students and how you did that and reasons you came up with certain assessments for certain students and why you did that, how that worked, what you'll do next time. So that constant reflection practice. All right, this is here you find the link for maintenance of certification, and you can choose either the picture or this same thing. And that will take you to the requirements for the maintenance of certification. So if you've already completed national boards and you are at that point where you have to renew again, these are the instructions that will show you how to do that. These are important dates for everyone. So this is your registration window. It's open until February 28th. So by February 28th, you can see all these deadlines. You must have chosen what certificate area you are going to be in. Okay, so I'll talk to you about that in a minute and choosing your certificate area. You have to pick that certificate area. You have to tell them which components you're going to complete, and you need to pay for those components. So the components are $475 each. Plus, there's a $75 fee. You have to pay that registration fee every year. You have 5 total years to complete your national board certification. However, you must try all 4 components within the first 3 years. So you must attempt all 4 components, and then you have those extra 2 years in case you need to do any retakes. If you didn't do well on one area, you can just retake that component. You don't have to do all 4. So that's how that all works. This is the testing window. If you decide to do component 1, the testing part of it, this is the window. You will have to sign up, and you'll pick your testing center and go and do that. This is the ePortfolio submission window. So if you're doing components 2, 3, and 4, this is the window. This will open up, and you will have to upload everything. There are forms you have to upload, and then your writing and everything that you upload into the site. And then your score releases will come out December 9th. Okay, so that gives you all that information. Now, the next thing you'll need to look at is modules. So you're really just going 2 places. You'll be looking at the home page, you've got information there, and you'll be looking at modules. So in the modules at the top, the first thing I set up are discussion groups. And this is totally optional. If you feel like you want to get on there and you're in, say, I'm a music teacher and I want to get in there and talk to other music teachers. How are you handling this part of it? Because you might have something unique and you want to discuss with your group, or we're the EC group, we're going to discuss this. Whatever, if you want to get on there and throw out some questions or work on something together, you can use these. If you don't need them, fine, but that's an option. So then I will have a module for each of our sessions when we get together. So this is the first one for today, and that was our schedule. I will have a section for initial candidates, that's the pancakes, because they're kind of stacking up their components. And then the maintenance of certification, the teachers who are already national board teachers and they're working on their renewal process, they are the donuts. So let's click here and go through for the initial candidates. So here's what we talked about. We went through, this is your guide to national board certification, just gives you kind of the basics of how everything works. This general portfolio instructions, this is something important. So this will give you lots of good information, and this is one of the things on your homework that I suggest you print out and keep. This will give you all the guidelines, like when you're writing a student's name in your commentary. You want to use their first name, and if you have students with the same name, then you might use, like John B and John C if they have different last names. So that's the way you would do that. If you have your school, it would be initials and then the name of the school. So for instance, Northmore High School would be NM High School. Okay, so all of those instructions are there. You would say my county, my state. You don't say the actual county, the actual state. So those are the way you will set those up. It has information if you're teaching in foreign language as part of it, and it explains how some things that have to be translated, some things that are fine. So it helps you with those guidelines. If you are teaching virtually, there are guidelines about how to film and handle everything virtually during the filming part. Okay. This is called the body of knowledge. So this is where you get all of your information of the expectations. What does National Board want to see from their teachers? What should they be able to do? So this little booklet here, which you can click on open, what teachers should know and be able to do is what they're looking for. That will include all of this. Okay, we have the 5 core propositions. And these are things like, your content area. You work in a PLC group, okay? You work with other teachers. You reflect on student learning. All of these types of things that you do all the time, but they're in there and you really want to make sure you're showing those. This is a video about those 5 core propositions that we watched, short video. And then this is the architecture of accomplished teaching. So you may have seen this before. It's this double helix, and it takes these 5 core propositions and shows how they work together and are continuous. And then they go up, and then there would be another helix. And you keep on going along that line with your teaching, that you're constantly reflecting, here's what I did, here's how that went. So now I'm making this decision, and now I'm moving on. And so that takes you through that process. This is about choosing the right certificate. So if you click on this, this is a little information booklet that kind of helps you if you're not sure. Some people are certified in multiple different areas or have some different options. Some people don't. You're a high school English teacher. There aren't options. It's just one thing for you to do. But some people do have different options. So that will help you to choose. And when you're looking at the standards, this is the link that will take you there. So let me show you what that will tell you. So here are the standards and instructions. So you click your discipline. So these are your different options. Okay, so pretend I was a math teacher. And then I choose my level. Okay, this is going to be pretty much middle school and this is going to be high school. So pick whatever level you teach. And then here are your instructions. So these are for all of your components. These are the instructions. So component 1, you click that. That will give you instructions to component 2, 3, and 4. And these are your standards. So all of this should get printed out. So remember I told you to print out the general portfolio instructions. You also want to print out all of these components and your standards. And then I would just put them in a binder with tabs so you have all that information. It's much easier to refer back to when you have someone reading for you. You can give them the prompts and they have those to look at. So it really helps. So now when you look at these, say I'm looking at component 2 here, and it'll come in this zip file. Hang on a second, it's coming, it's loading. Come on, open up. There we go. So I'll click on this to open it up, and it will give me, these are different forms that I'll need with this component. So this is like contextual information for my class and, describing the activity. It'll just give you some different forms that you need. These are your instructions. So when you click on this and open it up, this will take you to the actual instructions. So that's what I really want you to print out for right now. So you have those instructions. And so when you go through this, it gives you a lot of the information explaining what you need to do and getting everything set up, and tells you exactly what you need to write. And so here's where we start with like a written commentary. Okay, well, first, this is instructional context. That's just that information. This is about your planning. So this section is 4 pages. And you can see the prompts here. You have all of these prompts that you need to address and make sure you're answering those thoroughly. Yeah, you will likely find that once you do this, you have way more than you need. And then you cut down, which is a good thing. You don't want to have too little. So hopefully you have plenty and then you need to cut. Then you can see this next part, 5 pages. This is where you're analyzing 2 student responses. So you're going to answer these questions again thoroughly, and then you're going to have a 2-page reflection. So all that will go together. Okay, these are suggested lengths. You have a total length, and then they give you a suggested length of what they want for each of these different parts. Okay, so you want to make sure you're following those guidelines and doing what they have asked for. Okay, so it tells you here no more than 12 pages. Okay, if you submit something longer, only the first 12 pages are scored. So you want to make sure you're going through this. Like if I was, doing this, I would try to stay pretty much within their guidelines. Okay, because they gave you some pretty good guidelines that help you out as far as what's expected. So I would try to stay with those. All right. So that should help you out there. So far, remember, you're printing out your general portfolio, your 4 components, and your standards for your certificate area. Okay. So that's that. You have release forms here. So you need to have release forms for all of the students who may appear in your videos or if you are using that student's work. So down here at the bottom, you'll see there are adult release forms and student release forms. So you need one of these for every student, like I said, who's going to appear in your video or you're going to use their work. You also have adult release forms. If you have an EC teacher, teacher assistant, or any other adult that's in your room, you need to have that signed by that adult. Okay. So here are some opportunities for support. This is the National Board website, so you can get there. This is Atlas Resources. This is something new they've added where they have videos and cases of different teachers who are National Board certified, so you can see what that looks like. So they give you some of that as a candidate. You have that opportunity to view some of those. This is Ncat, which I highly recommend if you are considering National Board certification. This is offered in February, and if you've never been to any Ncat seminar, they are all fabulous, no matter what you go to. This one is in Cullowhee in the mountains. And if you haven't been there before to understand how it works, you have your own room. They have facilities there where they give you your room. You don't have to share with anybody. You get your own room. That's all included. They include all the food, and the food is fabulous. and every program they want run is amazing. I always have learned a lot from it. So they expect you to have something written or ready to bring with you for this. Okay, it tells you you're expected to have a draft of at least one component. I would go with as many as you can get done, whatever you're planning to do that year, because it's so helpful. And they have such great readers that really help you out. So I highly recommend applying for that. It does fill up quickly, so I would apply for that as quickly as possible to get into that because it is really worthwhile. All right, NCAE and PNC, sometimes they offer webinars, so I included their information. This is NCDPI offers a loan for the cost, the $1,900 cost for national board. So if you would like to apply for that loan, you can click there. That will give you the information about that. National Board now offers a payment plan. So if you would like to look at the payment plan, that information is there. This session here is one that's coming out October 26th. This is a webinar for new candidates that they have. This is a list of all their webinars, and they do always post them afterward. You can see some things from last year that they leave up there, so you can always access those. And then again, here's how you can contact them directly. And so if you're ready to go ahead, you can go in and register. So you have that information. Now, each week, I will provide you with homework. Now, you do not have to do this. You are an adult. This is just here to help you. We'll put this homework here to kind of keep you on track and get you where you need to be. But you don't have to follow it. You can fill it out just for yourself. You don't need to turn anything into me. I'm not collecting it. I'm not going to grade it. It's just really for you. But I've set it up as homework to kind of keep you, like I said, on track to complete everything you need to complete. So it's just a tool to help you. Feel free to use it if you think it will be helpful. So for this week, I have you getting a binder to organize your information, print out your general portfolio instructions and read them, read what teachers should know and be able to do, choose your certificate area. You can use that document to help you. Print out your certificate specific instructions. Okay, those are the components. And remember, you have the standards. That's down here. Look for the standards. And then get your release form signed by your students' parents, I should say. Apply for the state loan if you need it. Apply for Ncat if you're interested in that. And if you're ready, go ahead and register. And so I gave you this document to look at with the standards, and it's very helpful, but totally up to you if you want to do it. So you will look at your standards. Remember, that's by certificate. That's when you go into the certificate specific instructions where you have the drop down boxes. You pick, like I picked math, middle school. You'll pick whatever area. And I want you to put the subtitle for the different standards. Pull out those phrases and verbs just like you do with our state standards. And then where you see yourself with that standard. Is that something where you're really strong or something you still need to work on? And then over here, think about your next steps or questions, things you need to do to strengthen yourself in those areas. Okay, so that's kind of your homework to look at today. And we'll go on next month, October 22nd. We'll be talking about component 2. So we'll get started with component 2. We'll go through all the basics of that and do some practice to kind of get you ready to start evaluating your student work and writing about it. Okay, so that's the plan. Now, if you are an initial candidate, you can stop the video here. If you are a maintenance of certificate, maintenance of certification candidate, someone who already has national boards and are now going on to renew, the rest of this will be about you. All right, so if you're done, if you're an initial candidate, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you at our next meeting on October 22nd. All right, for the maintenance of certification, people. So this is your information. So this, if you click here, will be the MLC guide, the instructions, forms you need, all of that. It's a little different than when you had your certificate specific instructions. All of the instructions are the same for all of us, okay? Yes, you do have to consider your certificate standards. You have to consider that whole body of knowledge, all of this, that all comes in. So yes, your certificate specific standards are important, but we all have the same instructions. We're all doing the same thing as MOC candidates. So your first module, or your first component rather, you are going to be working on, you pick 2 PGEs. Okay, so you have to pick 2 PGEs, which are professional growth experiences. So 2 things you've done to grow. And I have a whole chart I'll give you to start considering and make sure you're hitting all the areas before you choose your PGE. So I'll show you that in a minute. But you'll choose those PGEs. The first component, you talk about those 2. Okay, you're answering the questions and reflecting on these PGEs that you have done. For the second one, you're going to be videotaping yourself in your classroom. So one of those PGs has to be specific to your certificate. Okay, and the one that is, if they both may be, but the one that is, if you only one of them meets your certificate standards, that's the one you're going to need to use for your classroom. Okay, that has to be certificate specific. So you will use that PGE and you'll show how that has been used in your classroom. Okay, so you're reflecting on how that professional growth experience has impacted your students, and you'll be showing that through your video. Okay, so that's what you'll be working on. Again, you have the forms. You have to get the release forms again, just like last time. This is a video about choosing your PGEs, and then you're going to be working on something for homework if you choose. Like I said, this is totally up to you if you want to do that homework or not. The payment plan is open to you as well, so you can look at that. This is a webinar that National Board is having on September 28th that is meant for MOC candidates. This is how to contact them, and there is your registration information. Okay, so we'll take a look at the homework I set up for you if you would like to do it. And when you first go into this, if you've never used Canvas, you do have to click to link it first to your account, and then you'll be able to open up the documents. So here's what I did. So for you, get the release form signed for your students and adults in your room, review the body of knowledge. Remember that includes your standards for your certificate. Read over the MOC instructions, print out the prompts, and then you can complete this if you would like. So possible PGs, just brainstorming some ideas of some of the things you've done since you last certified. And then this is from National Board. So you want to think about, as you're selecting, read each of these questions and what you're considering for PG 1 or 2. You want to meet all of these in at least one of them. Okay, so at least one of them you should hit every single one of these categories. So, you're looking at things like, is this a method relevant need of the student? Did you acquire deep, certificate specific knowledge? Remember, I told you that one definitely has to be in your component 2 within the classroom. Did you use technology? So definitely one of these has to talk about technology. Involved in the wider community of colleagues, okay, that you're working with others. Practice standards-based, ensured fairness and equality, okay? So make sure you consider all of these as you check off your PGEs, and make sure you have all of these checked off for at least one of these PGEs, not both, okay? So that's what I have for you. If you do have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I hope to see you on October 22nd we'll meet 9 a.m. to 12. So come whenever you can. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.